Yes, I'll have a knuckle sandwich. Yes, I'll have a knuckle sandwich.
All right, everybody, welcome to Knuckle Sandwich. It is a big, big week. Okay, there's this is probably one of the best fight cards of the year, if not the best. And guess what? Yours truly is going to it. That's right. I'll be in Vegas, and I have my cohort here.
Yeah.
This is Nando, and Nando, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit of where you're from and your love for the fight game.
I'm from Ogden, Utah. I grew up in San Diego, around a lot of the fight teams over there, like Alliance and Dean Lister. I had people that were training under them. I went to a lot of the Total Combat out there. I went to a WEC where I saw Cerrone fight. I saw Uriah Faber versus Jens Pulver.
Ooh, that was a good fight.
Yeah, and then that was the time that the WEC where Jose Aldo ran into the crowd. Not on our side, but it was still pretty nice. And then I lived in Detroit for a while.
Wow.
The fight fans are pretty big there. I got to see at a Dave and Buster James Toney versus Randy Couture, and that was an interesting
That
fight.
was an embarrassing fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I saw what was it when Brock Lesnar lost to Cain Velasquez?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Everybody erupted. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like to follow new fighters, old fighters. You know, I like the Pride. I like some of the other organizations. They're not as big.
There's so many good fighters all over the place. You know, if you're talking One, PFL, so many great organizations, Bellator. But today we are talking about UFC 276.
Yes.
And I'm going to be super excited about that. I too have been a longtime fan, and I'm one of the best armchair coaches ever.
Yes, I went to your house once, and you were spitting all kinds of knowledge, and I was like, this guy really knows what he's talking about. Look at his left leg; he's gonna come with that right hook.
So that's cool, but this is the first time Nando's joining Knuckle Sandwich, and hopefully it won't be the last time because he has
Yes.
a lot of knowledge too. I mean, he's going back to the old school WEC days and some of the local fight clubs. I too did the same thing here. I've always been interested in MMA and boxing and stuff like that, but I've really become an MMA fan. So this was International Fight Week, Nando, and there's a lot of buzz going all over the place in Las Vegas right now.
Yes.
All the fighters are in town. A lot of interviews going on. What were some of the interviews that you've seen that kind of stand out to you?
I liked the Sean O'Malley interview. I liked him saying that this is the next level for him. Now he's finally going to fight someone in the top 10. He was waiting for big money. Now they gave him the money. Now we want to see big fights.
Yeah, I saw that interview and I agree. I thought that was a really good interview. He seems very not only confident, but he thinks a lot about the whole everything, his career, the brand, everything that he does is all quite calculated. And
Yeah, I
that's
think
good to see because a lot of these guys, they really, and you've heard it time and time again, they need to look at it as a business, right?
yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
They don't want to be like the Sage Northcuts and people that they push them way further than they need. They need to, and plus his right now, he's not ready for those top 5, but he's ready to get closer and closer. He's going to need to knock off some of these on the lower end, the 6 to 10.
And I agree. Sometimes it works when they push somebody that's got that star power, that's got the, I hate to use an old cliche, the it factor, but that really is a real thing. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I think Sage Northcutt is a great example of a good-looking guy, muscular, had the physique, looked like just this incredible athlete. But they put him in there against some killers that had a lot of experience, and experience does count for a lot of things,
Yeah.
So I think that was a good example. All right, so I want to talk about like I know, Nando, that you're really envious of me going to Vegas and getting to see these guys. Hopefully, I'll get to. I'm going to be broadcasting the whole time we're down there on Knuckle Sandwich. So if you guys are watching this, tune in, because I'm going to be doing wherever I'm at. I'm going to be talking about the fight, the matchups, and everything like that. But hopefully, because there's so many athletes down there walking around, I will be able to get one of them on camera. You know, that would be the dream thing for me. So, Nando, I'm going to ask you this question: if I can get somebody on camera to do part of my podcast or a little interview, what question? And I can't say a specific fighter, so you have to give me a general question of whoever I interview. If I can interview them, what question do you have that I should ask them?
That's a good question. I'd like to. Oh man, I'm trying to think. I'd like to. Geez, I can't really, because I'm trying to think. There's certain fighters. What I'd like to know is, how do they feel about changing camps? Are they for changing camps? Or, because there's some fighters that come up and they stay with their camp all the way, and then there's some fighters like a Robbie Lawler that's going to be there, that went from Militech, where he was great. Then he was with, I think, what's it with the Black Zillions? What is the other one? The ATT or
AC? Yeah, ATT, yeah.
Yeah, and then now he's with Sanford. What does he feel about changing coaches? He's still with Henry Hoof, and the other question is, when you get to the big dance, are you gonna go with what got you there, or are you gonna try to do something that you've been working on in the last year?
Okay.
Because there's a lot of fighters that work on. They're like Ronda Rousey. Now I'm a stand-up boxer, and she should have took a lot of people down. Right?
Yeah, and that's true. I think those are excellent questions, and I'm putting them in the frontal lobe so that I remember. But those are great questions, because you can ask any fighter that's done that. And you know, the fighter that if I'm able to interview somebody would be. He may say, I've never changed camps. I've always been loyal to this camp, and it's always been right by me. But, you know, normally when fighters start losing, or they get on these losing skids, they have to change something up, because you can't continue. And I think that's what even Sean O'Malley said. He said, you know, you can't keep doing the same thing. You got to keep improving, and you got to mix things up. But I also know that a lot of the fighters too, Nando, are bringing in, you know, they always bring in somebody that's close to, you know,
mimics the style
attributes of who their opponent is. But at the same time, I think a lot of them are also bringing in all these different guys that can box, you know, and they may not necessarily have the same attributes of their opponent, but they may be really good boxers or really good at jiu-jitsu or whatever. But they're starting to mix and match a lot more, it seems to me, rather than just have, this is my tight team. And I think,
well, yeah, I think the days of old, where people were like, I'm a stand-up guy or whatever, it's more of, I want to be a well-balanced MMA. I want to practice MMA, and I want to not get taken to the ground. You know, I want to specialize and have it a certain way. Not everybody's Khabib and Dagestanian and be able to just take people to the floor and smash them. And even with that, I'm skeptical with it, because I think eventually someone's going to figure it out, like Anderson Silva. Nobody figured it out, and then when they figured it out, it was a downward spiral.
Yeah, and people always figure it out, you know, especially if they're in the same weight class as you and they're coming up, they're up and comers. They're studying you. They're studying the things that make you successful and possible holes that they see. But I think that's the same thing that kind of happened to Conor McGregor, because he stayed with his, you know, pretty much the same camp, but he never like really changed his style. He relied on that big left hand, and it started to catch up with him, because like you said, the other fighters were starting to figure things out. And but likewise with Charles Oliveira, he is just, you know what he's going to do, but he's so good at doing it. It's hard to stop him.
Well, his ground game got better and better, even though I couldn't believe it. And then he just wasn't worried about being taken to the ground like a Nogueira. He wasn't worried, like, I'm going to start throwing, and if you take me down, you know, I think in the last fight, he got hit to the ground. He laid on the floor. Come get me. Come down here. Then he got back up, and then he tooled Gaethje.
Gaethje said, "No, I'm not going down there, man."
Yeah.
Away. All right. Well, let's get to the main card. We've
Do you
got.
want to go top to bottom or bottom to top?
You tell me. You choose. You want to go top to bottom, bottom to top?
I'll go with the bottom. I want to go Sean O'Malley and Pedro Munoz.
Okay. Give me your insight. Let's chat a little bit about this fight.
Okay, so first of all, what I looked at is that Pedro Munoz in his last 5 fights, he's 1-5. But he's fighting a lot of monsters. You know what I mean? He's fighting I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Something happened. My camera. Oh, there you go. Okay, so he's fighting people like Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar, Aljamain Sterling, and those are all really big names, top 4, top 5, and he's not getting much luck. But like you said, experience is everything. But I think Sean O'Malley is ready for this point, and I think he's gonna make the best of it. And my personal opinion is I think Sean O'Malley is gonna win this fight.
And I'm going to agree with you on that because Sean O'Malley, he's got a lot of length, a lot of reach, and you know, even in his interview that we both saw, he said, "Yeah, everybody's plan is to attack my legs. That's my weak spot." You know, but you always got to look out for that jab. You got to look out for that straight right. You know, because he's very disciplined in how he throws. Pedro Munoz is a little bit shorter. He's got some powerful leg kicks though, man. So you cannot discount that. But I think I'm going to go with you on that one, and I'm going to pick Sean O'Malley on this one because I think he's going to. Pedro Munoz hasn't been knocked out, has he?
No, I don't think so. All the fights were like decision fights, and
Okay,
I
so-
think that he hasn't. The Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo hasn't kicked. He hasn't had somebody, and Sean O'Malley's got those long legs. He kicks nice. He sets up the punch, and then he'll kick to the head. He's got a lot of like roundhouse kicks. He's very fluid, like what Connor used to be.
Yeah.
Using those legs, using his reach, and he's going to try to keep Pedro at a distance, and he's just going to try to pick him apart.
I also think that, yeah, if he keeps him at distance, he's going to pick him apart. But I think he's got that body kick too. Pedro Munoz has got a pretty nice head kick, but he's quite a bit shorter than Sean O'Malley. So he's going to be jumping and kicking if he's going to reach that head. But I think the biggest threat that he has is the leg kicks. But I also agree with you on Sean O'Malley that his kicks are vicious too. And if he gets those body kicks going and then keeping him at distance, because all you have to do is hurt him a little bit and keep him at distance, and then he's just going to pick him apart with jabs. And those jabs are money.
Yes. It's going to be hopefully an early night for Sean O'Malley. But if he gets to the later rounds, he proves that he has what it takes to stay in the fight. He's not going to give up. He's gonna, you know, and his corner is pretty good. They change it through rounds, you know. This is working, this is not working. And some fighters, when they get in there, they're stuck with their game plan. And once they start getting hit, I'm gonna start hitting back. And they don't stick to the game plan.
Yeah, that's a la Cody Garbrandt. When you get him pissed off and tag him, he wants to tag back. Of course, Max Holloway does the same thing. But because they get mad and they want to throw down, you know, stand right here. That's Max Holloway. Stand right here. But okay, so how do you think Sean O'Malley finishes this fight?
I think it's going to be a TKO. I think he's going to wobble him, and then he's going to swarm him. What do you think?
I'm thinking. Oh gosh. Munoz is tough though, man. He's really tough. I'm gonna go with Sean O'Malley winning by decision.
Oh, okay.
I think he's because Munoz has got a chin. He's got a chin, man. So I'm gonna go by a decision on that one. All right, sir. Let's move up the ladder to Robbie Lawler versus Brian Barberena. What you got? What are your thoughts on this fight before you pick one?
My thoughts is that this is two old dogs going into a fight. It's two people that, I know Barberino isn't like super old, but I was watching fights of him this morning, and he's a brawler. He's gonna get in there, and he's gonna keep it close, and he's gonna try to knock your head off. I'm not seeing a lot of, and that's the wrong person to do it against. I know Robbie Lawler's on a skid, but he's fought really tough guys. And the Nick Diaz fight was entertaining, but it wasn't, I would say, both of their best performances.
Yeah, I agree. I think Nick he looked like he gassed. He looked like he gassed on that one. But
yeah, and
Robbie seems like in his last few losses, okay, before that Diaz fight, he seems to, when he gets hurt now, he kind of turtles up, and he'll stay there for quite a long time, just trying to, deflect those shots. But those gloves are so small that, they're coming through and they're catching him. And I think like he waits too long, just kind of standing there instead of moving out of the way. And he'll just, hopefully, I don't know if he's thinking, I'm going to get this guy tired, let him throw all these punches, his arms are going to gas or what. But that's what I've noticed in his last few fights that and basically have cost him the fight, is just standing there too long, just going like this, and I know he's been in some just insane battles. That Rory McDonald one was just crazy, and the beatings that you take. And I don't think, when you have a fight like that, you're not the same person when you leave that octagon,
Yeah. He's had wars with everybody. He's had wars in Pride. He had the Jake Shields fight. He had when he fought Melvin Manhoof. He's fought some people that throw leather, and this is at kind of like the end of his career. So I feel like he's got maybe 2 fights left. If he gets knocked out, maybe this might be his last. But he is training with Robbie, not Robbie, Rory McDonald.
Oh, he is.
They're trying to get a game plan going, and I think he needs to go back into defensive wrestling. Just kind of, get this fight a little closer. Don't put your hands up. Try to clinch with this guy, and then dirty box, push him away, throw those haymakers. But he needs to, like exactly you say, he can't just stand there with his hands up and try to hope for a thing. He's got to make this fight his fight.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think Barberena is gonna gas out, but I think Robbie may have an advantage on taking him down with some ground and pound, because he can throw some vicious elbows. I think Barberena does too, but I'm not sure about Barberena's ground game. I don't think it's super strong, because I've seen him taken down and held down before. But I think if Robbie can take him down to the ground, I haven't seen Robbie wrestle a whole lot though.
No, he is from a wrestling background. He was with Militech. He was with some of the greatest wrestlers, but even then, you didn't see him wrestle very much.
Yeah, he likes to throw hands, but I think if he does that, he's going to surprise Barberena, and I think that's going to be his advantage. I think also if he stands still too long, Barberena is just going to start throwing bombs, and if he starts trying to roll with them, I'm sure Barberena's been watching those tapes and saying, okay, how do I get in there? I can get in there, because again, it's 4-ounce gloves. Come on, man. They're gonna sneak through.
He needs to fight a smart fight, a strategic fight, not every fight's going to be a Rory McDonald, Carlos Condit. You know, where they're all checking out on a stretcher. He needs to, you know, think of his fights as, you know, getting some wins and getting a big fight to end his career.
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah,
should
he-
go out. I mean, is he what is it called, Hall of Famer? Is he going to be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, he'll be a Hall of Fame. He's already got a Hall of Fame for the fight of the year. Him, Rory McDonald. You know, he's been a champion
Mhm.
in multiple organizations, and I think that, you know, this is like, you don't let people just go past you. He's not a stepping stone. Right now he's a journeyman, but he needs to get a couple wins and end his career with a
win streak.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Even if it's 2 or 3, because he's
I agree.
got, you know, in that weight class, there's a lot of killers. I mean, there's a lot of people, and he's fought in all of them. So, and he's just going lower and lower down the ladder.
Yeah.
So
And Barbarina on the flip side is going up the ladder, fighting somebody with that sort of legacy and that sort of name recognition. So that's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah, and
big for Barbarina.
he's on a 2-win streak right now. So he's trying to make it 3. He's trying to get someone kind of in that top 5.
Yep. So who do you got? What's your prediction on this fight?
I like Robbie, but I'm gonna go Brian. I think he's gonna get him into a fist fight, and Robbie's gonna he's gonna start swinging. There's gonna be blood everywhere. It's gonna be and I think it's gonna be a unanimous decision. I don't think either one is gonna knock each other out.
Okay.
Because I don't know that Robbie's been knocked out very much. I mean, the Tyrone Woodley, that was a TKO. I don't think he was knocked out. You know, Colby Covington, which is like he didn't even knock him out. He, you know, you would think he TKO'd. He just smothered him.
Mhm.
It's not gonna be his night. I'm hoping it will be his night, but I feel like it's gonna be a tough outing for Robbie. What is your opinion?
I am gonna go opposite of you. I think Robbie is gonna do a knock him out or TKO. I think he's gonna surprise him with a power shot, and it's gonna rock him. And then I think he's going to either ground and pound him out, or he's just gonna knock him out with punches on the feet. But I think that's how it's going to go. I think he's going to fake the takedowns. He's going to do a lot of feints doing that,
Mhm.
and get Barbarina thinking, and then he's going to come across the top. But I think I do agree. I don't know how much longer he would fight if he lost this, and it was if Brian Barbarina walks through him. You know, if he walks through him, he's probably going to start thinking, oh man, maybe this fight game isn't for me anymore. But I think he's got one more push. He looked different in his interview that I saw this week. He looked a little bit different, and that told me, because most of the time when you interview Robbie, he's like, I don't care about this, I don't care about that, whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
This one, he just looked different. He looked like he cared a little bit more. Like, I don't want to, you mentioned it, I don't want to go out on a losing skid. I want to, if I'm going to be retiring soon, let me rack up some wins and go out on top the way I want to go out. So that's why I think he's got a little extra this time. All right, let's move on. Oh, this next one, man. Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira. What's your thoughts on this fight?
I think they're in the opposite of the Sean O'Malley. I think they're trying to push Alex, and I feel like, he's not ranked. I was trying to find rank. He's not even ranked in the top 15. He's fighting Sean, which is ranked fourth. It's a very surprising, but he's got a win over Izzy twice. And I think Glory, or I don't know what kickboxing, I would like to say it's Glory. are lion fights, but that's different. That's not MMA. Izzy's not that same fighter, but I think Izzy wants, if Alex wins, I think Izzy's going to want to fight him and get rid of that smudge on his name. And I think Sean Strickland is a tough guy. He's winning. He's on
a 5-fight win streak, isn't he?
Yeah, 5 or 6 win streak. He's 31. Alex is 34. This is going to be a tough fight, but it all depends, I think, on Sean and how he goes out there, because he is, like you said in the last fight, if you start hitting him, he's going to start running his mouth, start getting crazy, and he's not going to make it his fight. He needs to make this his fight, because with the win, I still don't think he's going to get a fight against Izzy, but it will get him a lot closer.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think Strickland is going to just march forward. I think if he can crowd Alex and keep him so that he can't measure up and start throwing those long limbs all over the place, I think if he can keep him on the back foot, he's going to have a great chance to beat Pereira. I don't know. He said he's going to wrestle the heck out of him, but that could all be mind games. But I know if you look at Sean Strickland's last few fights in particular, he's just marching forward, man, whether you're jabbing him or not. And it's really hard to fight if you're stepping back. Some fighters are really good at doing that because they're counter punchers. But I don't see Pereira looking at his fights as him being really a counter puncher, as he is, like, he likes to attack. So what happens when you got two guys that want to push forward and don't want to back up? Well, it falls into Sean's favor, in my opinion, because he's crowding Pereira and not allowing him to find that range to pick him apart with those big shots, because he is pretty accurate, especially with the kicks too.
Yeah, I think that Sean needs to crowd him. He needs a dirty box. I think he needs to take him down. I think he'll be able to take him down. And even if he doesn't get on top of him and smother him, he takes him down, that's going to be in Alex's head. Alex is going to be like, he's new to this. He's not used to someone. In the last 2 fights, they didn't take him down. There wasn't even that worry for him. So he's got to know that, this is a big fight and this is a tough guy. This isn't a guy that's gonna, let him head kick him or flying knee. This is a guy that's gonna, but Sean Strickland, if he marches forward and doesn't crowd him and gives him room, then he might lose. But I think it depends on that first round, because I think once that first round is gone, I think Alex, this is going to be a really, really big fight for him. He's had fights, but nothing like the UFC. Nothing like those crowds. And a lot of those new fighters, they have that adrenaline dump. And that second round, they're just like, oh man, I didn't finish this person. And I don't know if he can finish him in the first round. Yeah, so I'm going with Sean.
Why is he still there? Why is he still standing?
Yeah, it was like what happened with Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. He had hit people, knocked people out. Then he hit Nate, and Nate was like, then he gassed.
Yep, he gassed out, because that takes a lot of energy, especially it's the psychological. That guy didn't get knocked out, and he was supposed to, and now I got to throw another one. I think with Sean Strickland, I do think that if he knocks out Pereira or submits him, I think he will be facing.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I do. I think if he shows up and makes a spectacular statement, which I think he wants to do, because even he's the same way as Robbie Lawler in a sense. I don't care about this, I don't care about that. But this week on the interviews, he was talking about championship. He was talking about this and that. He was trying to play it off, but he kept coming back to it himself. It wasn't necessarily the reporters or the interviewers bringing him back. He was bringing himself back. And I'm thinking, okay, this dude is like, I can see it. It's there. And
Yes.
if I can put on a good show, I mean, imagine if he knocks Pereira out cold. You can't deny it.
No, yeah.
Because you got the guy that beat Izzy twice. And he got
Oh yeah, and then if he
down.
wins and he does that, oh, he's gonna go right on the microphone.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna be waiting for the post-fight conference to
But
hear what he says.
like you said though, with Pereira, if he wins, even if he wins by decision, he's next in line.
Which is crazy. I don't see how that, but it's money. I mean, I think you would like to see it. I'd like to see it. You know, you have the people, everybody would like to see it, but it's about putting butts in seats.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's what it's all about right there. All right. So who is your pick, my friend?
I'm going Sean Strickland. I think Sean Strickland's going to do what he needs to do. You know, I think he has more. He's more of a veteran. He knows what he needs to do, and I think he knows, like, these other fights. Yeah, I could do that, but this fight right here, I'm one away. If I can do something big, this is going to be bigger money. This is going to be bigger people, and I'm building to this. This is my chance.
Yeah.
So I can't do something that's going to kind of mess up that momentum I have going.
Yeah, and I think he's got too much experience to be blinded by the bright lights and the big show. I don't think that's going to affect him. I think as long as he stays to the game plan, I predict him winning. So, all right, so we got our pick there. Okay, next up, we got Alexander Volkanovski
Oh my
versus
gosh.
Max Holloway. Count them three. What are your thoughts on this fight?
Well, a lot of people are saying Max lost twice, but they wouldn't do a third one if everybody thought Max lost. I thought Max won the last fight.
I did
But
too.
I think, you know, and Alexander is getting better. You know what I mean? He is, you know, the Brian Ortega proved that he has heart. I don't think Max is going to take him down or try to choke him out. He just walked right through the Korean Zombie, which I don't think the Korean Zombie was, not a lot of people gave him, you know, not a lot of people were saying he was going to win. But on the other hand, Max Holloway, like, did a clinic on Cater, went in there, had a war with Yair, and he is looking good. He's looking good. He's looking ready. The keys on both sides is, I think Volkanovski needs to go to the legs again, kind of make him just a boxer, kind of slow him down. And the other part, I think Max needs to work on the body, keep him guessing, keep those hands moving like an old Diaz style, keep those hands moving, and hopefully slow him down. I don't think either one is going to get knocked out. I think this is, again, going to go to a unanimous decision. I think both of their fights have all been unanimous decisions. And, you know, the 4 fights, I would say the 6 fights, but between them, they're all unanimous decisions.
Mhm.
And I think, you know, I think the key for Max Holloway is to work on the body, use his range, you know, and hope that the judges are on his side. I think it's going to be close. I think it's, again, going to be like, but if Volkanovski closes this chapter, you know, Max Holloway is right there on a crossroads. Like, what does he do? This is his last chance at the title. You don't want to be Rich Franklin, where he can beat everybody, but he can't beat the champion.
But you know, I think that's a good point. But I also think that regardless of who wins this fight, they're going to have to make that choice of going up a weight class, because
You don't think either one of them? Well,
I think-
Volkanovski cannot go down.
yeah, he's not going to go down. He's going to go up because that's bigger money up. But I think if Max doesn't beat him 3 times in a row, he's got to get out of that weight class and go up and try and get a championship. It's like Valentina Shevchenko, right? She couldn't beat Amanda Nunes, and so she went down a class and she reigned supreme. You know what I mean? So I think Max and both of them, and on Volkanovski, him to go up is not just bigger money, but he's already cleaned out. You know, he said there's a lot more people to fight. Yeah, there's a lot of up and comers, but you know, I think he's got his eye on another champion. If he can go up and beat another champion, that's gonna cement his legacy, man.
I don't know if that's possible. That's a really tough weight class, and I don't know that
he thinks he's the man. If you're the champ, who can beat me? So here's my thoughts on it. My thought is, if Volkanovski does the leg kicks and damages his legs, I think he's going to win that fight. On the other side, I think of Max Holloway, his problem is, when you go back and look at his fights, his problem is he doesn't get his head off the center line once he starts, you know, when they say, okay, come on, let's mix it up, right? Then they just start throwing punches. And I think he takes too many really hard headshots to get to where he wants to be. He's gonna take a couple to give a couple. But I think losing to Volkanovski twice, that's going to be in his head also. And I think he's not going to be able to finesse him. I think if he can keep elusive so that the punches coming from Volkanovski, the counter punches coming off of his lead punches, if he can keep his head off the center line and not take as much damage, he'll win this fight.
Yeah,
he'll win this fight because his jabs and everything are super crisp, very clean, fast. He's got that reach over Volkanovski, you know, as far as looking down on him and just being able to keep that head off the center line and moving away from those punches. I think he'll win this fight. But Volkanovski, man, he's an animal, you know, and he's got something to prove, not to beat Max Holloway for the 3rd time, but to say that I'm the greatest. And he's been talking about moving up. You know, he wants the big fights. And I wouldn't be surprised if he wins this, that they don't throw Conor McGregor at him.
Conor McGregor? I don't think so. I think they're gonna throw Cejudo at him. Cejudo's, yeah, I think Cejudo wants to fight him, but he's saying, because he wants to be triple champ. He wants to go, but I don't know. I think Cejudo has the wrestling, and he's just gonna, but he's little. I mean, Volkanovski was a rugby player that was like 225. You know, and what is he, like 5'2"? He's probably tall.
Volkanovski's pretty short too, though. He's short, you know. He's got.
I mean, Volkanovski's like 5'2", 225. That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a beefy guy.
A lot of muscle. You know? Yeah, that's a lot of muscle. So okay, so who's your ultimate pick here?
Oh man, I don't know if I should go with who I want to win or who do I think's gonna win. I'm gonna go with Max Holloway. I'm gonna go Team Blessed, and I'm hoping that he wins. But what I hate that happens is that if he wins, I think he should fight somebody else. I don't want to see an initial rematch. I know they can have another rematch, but I think put Volkanovski against somebody, give Holloway somebody, and then they're both gonna win, and then have them fight again. But I don't like I'm not a big fan of the immediate rematch.
Immediate rematch. Well, I think if Max Holloway wins, or either one of them wins via knockout, there won't be. Well, if Max Holloway knocks out Volkanovski, there won't be an immediate rematch. I think if it goes to the decision, you're going to see a 4-peat if Max wins. You know, because Volkanovski is really going to fight for that. He's like, I'm the champ. Look at how many times I defended the belt. You know, and I lost to a decision. We got to run it back, and they will. I think they'll go 4 times. But I think if Max Holloway knocks him out, there won't be an immediate rematch. I think it'll be a fight or 2 down the road, like you said, before they rematch again. But okay, so my pick. This is hard, man. This is hard. I'm going to go with you on this one. I'm going to pick Max Holloway. I think he has a lot more to prove than Volkanovski, for sure. A lot more to prove, but he's got to put a stamp on it, because if he goes and leaves it in the hands of the judges, it could happen like, fight number 2, which I thought Max Holloway won for sure, that fight. So I'm going to go with Max Holloway on that one too, but it's going to be a banger. There's going to be blood.
Yes.
Blood. All right, now we're coming to the main event. We've got Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. And that is going to be another good fight, I think. But, Adesanya is heavily favored at -410, with Jared Cannonier at +330. So give me your thoughts on this fight, and then at the end we'll both pick who we think is going to win.
Well, I think Izzy. I mean, they both fought Blachowicz, and they both lost, but they were both in the light heavyweight. Cannonier's coming down from light heavyweight, not after this fight, but I mean, he's coming down. He was a bigger fighter, and I feel like Cannonier is good, but there's levels, like DC says. And I think that, I think Izzy's gonna be elusive. He's not gonna be where Cannonier wants him, and the people that Cannonier fought weren't the same level. Cannonier did lose to Whitaker, and Whitaker is another one that they both fought. But I think it's just not. It's not gonna. I think the sports bettors have it right on this one. I think it's gonna be. I don't see it being an upset. I see it being, if Izzy does what he wants to do, it's going to be his night. But I think if Cannonier can wrestle him and make it dirty and make it his fight, it's tough to say, because I think they're both. I just don't see them being on the same level right now.
Right. Well, I see. If I were to break it down, I'd break it down similar to the Sean Strickland Alex Pereira fight. If Jared Cannonier can make it dirty, if he can get in the clinch, if he can take him down a few times, Izzy's not gonna gas out. But if he can stop that range, because he's just a maestro when he throws those punches and those kicks, man, just so accurate. I think if he can crowd him and drop some elbows, because Cannonier's got some power,
Make it similar to the Kevin Gastelum fight.
Yeah, but I think Cannonier's got a lot more power than Kevin Gastelum. I think if he connects with Izzy, he could knock him out, because he hits hard. But even Izzy in the interview was talking about that. He says, everybody's talking about power. Everybody's talking about power. I got power too, but I also got finesse, and I also got,
precision.
And I've got all these things going for me, and he doesn't, So but Izzy is looking to make a statement. He wants to knock this dude out of the octagon. He wants to, he doesn't want a decision. He wants to knock him out. And I think I'm going to choose Izzy on this one. I think it's a little easier to do, but I also think that if Cannonier can crowd him and drop some elbows, it's going to be a little bit harder for Izzy to get those things going if you're right there, because his limbs are long. I mean, they go way out there, right? So if you crowd him, Cannonier's a little more compact, strong, has great power, and he's hungry. He knows he's up in age. I think, what is he, 33, 34?
Did I write down the ages? I didn't really know the ages on that one, but yeah, I think he's older.
He's older, and so this may be his only chance, so he's got to make the most of it. I don't think he's going to have an adrenaline dump. I hope not anyway, because that will make for a crappy fight. But Izzy doesn't sound like he's going to play it safe. He sounds to me like he wants to make a statement, because
Yes.
who's the next best big fight? It's John Jones.
No, I think his next big fight would be Yuri.
Ooh.
Because I think he sees Yuri. That's a better fight for me. Blachowicz was a bigger guy, but he wrestled me. Yuri is going to want to be unpredictable. I want to be unpredictable, and we're going to make big money.
I do think John Jones is a bigger fight because he's already talking smack to Jones, saying you need to not cheat, you need to lose some weight, you need to this or that. But if he chooses John Jones, and John Jones comes down, in weight, that's going to be the biggest fight.
Yeah, but I think John Jones has been working on getting that extra 50 pounds for like a year and a half. We've been waiting on this heavyweight fight for like almost 2 years.
You have to think though, why is he still talking crap about John Jones? Because he wants that fight. He wants to fight. He thinks he can beat him, and he's going to be small compared to Jones. But yeah, he's still talking about John Jones. So I think he's whether it's a pipe dream or what, but I think he still wants that fight, because that'll be huge money, huge money.
Yes. I don't know if John Jones can make it down. I mean, is that a good idea to spend like a year and a half getting ripped and getting so big, and then now going down to what, light heavyweight?
Yep, light heavyweight. And is he going up?
I don't know. I don't.
You don't see it.
I don't see it. I mean, John Jones he takes forever on everything.
You're not supposed to.
By then he could be arrested again. He could be like,
That's funny. All right, so your pick and how?
Izzy, I think Izzy's going to take him out in second round.
Second round?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a kick. I think it's going to be a head kick. Yeah, I think Cannonier is going to he's going to realize I'm not going to be able to stand with this guy. So he's going to try to take him down. And I think Izzy's just going to be setting it up.
Could be that flying knee too, man. If Cannonier is going down and take him down, that knee's right there all day.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I got Israel Adesanya on that one. That's an easier one, but I do hope it is competitive. I hope that it's a good fight. I hope that he can push Izzy to the limit, and just a 5-round knockdown, drag out, barn burner, slobber knocker, as
like Jim Ross
WWE used to say. A slobber knocker. I want to see a slobber knocker because I'll be there. Did I mention that?
Yes. I'm jealous.
No, it's going to be fun. I haven't been to a UFC contest for, gosh, I don't know.
What was the last one you went to?
It was in Vegas, and it was Tyron Woodley versus Wonder Boy. One of the
first or the second?
They got booed out of the arena, dude. Nobody threw.
Was that the T-Mobile?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
And when the Damage fought, gosh, what's his name? It just left me. Anyway, that was the fight. That was the fight right there. That was a great comeback. And he knocked. And I was sitting next. It was a Russian dude. I was sitting next to the Russian dude's brother.
Oh, really?
In that fight, yeah. And we were talking, and it was, yeah, it was interesting. So I'm hoping to run into somebody, and we'll see what happens. But I'll ask him the questions you asked. I will ask those questions. All right, man. So that is our picks. That's our thoughts on the fight on the main card. The whole card is stacked from top to bottom. Going to be a great contest, and looking super forward to it. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, we will be doing little shots throughout the whole day. in Vegas, and hopefully we'll be able to interview a fighter or two. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
It'd be awesome if I had Adesanya just saying, "Hey, man, can you say a couple of words to the Knuckle Sandwich fans? And by the
Yes.
way, Nando's got some questions for you."
Awesome.
We'll see what happens. You never know. Anyway, we want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you, Nando, for joining us. And
Yes,
hopefully we can make
it was
this,
great.
permanent thing, because I think you bring a lot of insight. You made me think about some things also that I hadn't thought about, and different aspects of the fight, and how these guys match up. So it was really great. Anyway, you guys, thank you. We'll see you next time. Don't forget, tune in. We will be doing a podcast live at the event. All right. We'll see you
Awesome.
later. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yes, I'll have a knuckle sandwich. Yes, I'll have a knuckle sandwich.